everyone, and welcome to the
Yeah,
Body
hi.
Slam Team Post Show. What's up, Ayo? How you doing, man?
Well, doing good, man. Little construction Saturday for me. Setting up a table right now and stuff. So yeah, I have a couple nails and on me. I'm just So I figure why not just do both? Chat and construction at the same time. Maybe that'll be fun. But this is good. The snow's finally melting here on the east. Yeah,
Nice, nice.
finally we can see. Yeah, we can finally see grass again and stuff. So it's good. How about you, man? Yeah.
Uh, a little change. The rain's finally stopped, so little of the same thing. It's not too. It's sunny, but it's too cold to go outside. So yet, so I'm gonna stay inside. I ain't going out there. Uh,
Yeah.
we're a little soft when it comes to weather out here. You know what I mean? You're talking about snow, and I'm here. The rain's
Yeah.
got me. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I thought it was a really to TNA. I thought it was a really solid episode this week. I think that maybe it might
Yeah.
not have been. It's stand. Oh, I thought it
I
might
was
have
gonna
not have
say,
stood out.
oh no, sorry. Continue. Continue.
No, I thought it might have not have stood out as much in terms of like maybe being as flashy, but I thought in terms of a complete show and what I think that they're going to put together week to week, I thought this was a very good example of it.
Yeah. This has been not only that, this has been a very good this has been a very good week for Impact. Like we're seeing more and more TNA finally get us more praises and positives as they should, especially especially given out like the ratings have been kind of going up, and so I mean either way, like TNA is doing TNA should get more praise and credit regardless of the ratings. But more and more has been a very positive outlook. I'm seeing more media people kind of who don't really kind of tweet much about TNA give us credit, so that's kind of pretty cool and stuff. But yeah, as far as the episode, I thought it was pretty good. There are a couple of talents that we definitely want to give their shout out to. Especially the two people in the main event. But yeah, you can kind of see like, oh yeah, like this is like the fallout from No Surrender, and we already kind of got like things kind of pacing, like new storylines going and stuff. Um, new champions obviously and stuff. So yeah, we're just kind of like slowly building the road to our sacrifice as we see in the background and stuff. So yeah, yeah, it's gonna be very few interesting few weeks. They're gonna be live again in Atlanta in 2 weeks, so that should be interesting too. And of course, with live, anything could happen. But I will say,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh, sorry. I will say that the building, the Nashville building, they were in the Pinnacle. It looked very good. Like they actually night one was nearly sold out. Dobby the Brain, our buddy, can confirm that it was nearly sold out. Night two, the which is the tapings, that looked pretty decent as well. So yeah, it's a very nice looking building. My understanding, it was just they just built that building. So it would have been nice if we had it a while back, especially during the pandemic time, because they were in Nashville during that time.
yeah. To add to your point, and I know it's funny how people, some people like will hate on these buildings and like kind of say something in terms of, and we're running crowds like this, more intimate crowds, and say, oh, that's all they can run. But I have to say that I'm a fan more of these like theater type arenas. Like I thought it was very cool. You had the balcony. In this one, I don't know. I think they're really good for wrestling. I mean, conducive for wrestling. Yeah, I really like this show, and yeah, this was a good spot. So hopefully they come back here because I think it really looked good on TV.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it's interesting you talk ratings. Uh, Man, I'm not gonna hate on it. You know what I mean? Because everyone, I guess, talking points is a big thing now in engagement. But it is interesting how as soon as these TNA numbers start going up, people start kind of like talking them down by saying that, oh, the way that wrestling is rated now has gone up across the board. So it's like TNA's never going to get its praise, but they've been on a real tear right now with these AMC ratings. I can't imagine AMC not being more happier. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of what matters. Like, we ain't got time for all these. That's just me. I ain't got time for all these discussions about how and so and so. Like the results. The results are just what matters. I mean, but also, it is nice. Like they've been going up the last 3 weeks, so it just kind of shows you. It just kind of shows like they are grown. Like no matter what some people want to say, like they are actually growing their audience. And although we wish it was like that, I know some have mentioned that we wish things were kind of different. During the premiere episode, I think our buddy Mike Gilbert pointed this too. Maybe something went wrong to the point where it got that result. Like maybe it should have gone higher because of a lot of hype and stuff. And but regardless, they are still growing their audience. So it's all about the main thing is about continuity. Like, can you keep your audience, like especially after premiere night, in which which so far they've done a good job. Like they've managed to not only maintain their audience but also increase it. And that's something that Mr. Google search himself, Dave Meltzer, kind of has to point to. I know because he's not one for kind of like talking about about TNA, but yeah. But it's always nice, like especially someone like him, he's acknowledging their growth so far. But yeah, the bottom line, yeah, AMC is very I would say AMC is very pleased. Um, yeah, AMC is very pleased too so far. So the main goal for TNA, I would say, is just putting on good content weekly, because like now they're in a new home and a new audience. Oh yeah, also they're also getting good lead-in films. Like yeah, did you happen to catch John Wick the John Wick 4 last Thursday before Impact?
No, but the whole time that you were, I did not. But the whole time that you were hyping it up, and then like I'm
Yeah.
just thinking back to the lead-ins that they've had so far. Yeah, that's a very strategic plan on AMC's part, and
Hmm.
that's awesome that they're doing that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I'm old. I'll still watch a movie on TV if I flip by and it's a movie I like. You know what I mean? So that's so
Yeah.
cool that we're getting quality films like that as a lead
Yeah.
into TNA.
It's pretty cool too. Like you can notice the difference. Like back, I mean, in Access, we didn't really kind of get all that stuff. Not really kind of lead-ins. Um, and AEW, they usually have like Big Bang Theory, before them and stuff. But yeah, it's kind of nice. Like we're having like these very popular films being our lead-ins and stuff. John Wick, like I mentioned, the Remember the Titans was the week ago. San Andreas, Guardians of the Galaxy, like very very notable films. So it's just it's pretty cool, like pretty cool. Like hey, you like before the Impact, you can just sit and chill and watch a cool movie.
Exactly, and like we keep kind of hammering home, like these are some of the biggest films, of the last decade, few years that they're really showing. Like yeah, like last week was Remember the Titans, but I think I'm trying to remember the one before. But yeah, John Wick is a
San
huge
Andreas, I
franchise.
think.
Yeah, San Andreas. So it's like these are really big movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So as a TNA fan, I'm glad that they're getting that type of support. That Access is really giving us. Okay. Before we move on to the show, as soon as I saw it, I was like really like thinking, man, that's crazy. What was the list? Just the kind of the promotions that TNA had, because it's a long list. You know what I mean? That
yeah,
TNA's kind of outlived. Because when I read that, I'm like, man, that's kind of huge. You know what I mean? From a perspective of TNA's still here. You know what I mean? After 20 plus
yeah.
years.
So yeah, I was on Copilot, which is a AI engine, and kind of like typing up, about TNA's legacy and stuff. And then they put out a list of like TNA has outlived WCW, ECW, Lucha Underground, Ring of Honor when it was independent promotion, and like when it was with Sinclair, the NWA TNA era, and some big ones, losing Spike TV. People thought they were done after that.
Mhm.
Destination America, Pop TV, Pursuit, Anthem taking over, which they still have. The
Mhm.
Impact rebrand, the pandemic, and obviously roster, losing roster exodus and stuff. Companies would have, there are not too many. A lot of companies wouldn't have survived after that. I'm just saying. So the fact TNA, was able to overcome that kind of says is a testament.
And yeah, it's like very weird when people like when TNA will lose some wrestlers that something as simple as as small as that compared to the issues that you've just named, people will think TNA is done. So it's very interesting. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Give me 1 second, folks.
Yeah, so it's a testament to as I mentioned that TNA not only can't die, but it's now rejuvenated, it's now have a pulse, like, and is a testament to the roster and the crew. Because it's been said time and time again, like they always had a good locker room, like everyone's welcome and everyone's motivated
And
every event, and you can see when Carlos Silva awards the All Stars, which I think is a really cool thing. He gives All Star awards to notable talent or crew members, for their hard work and this and that. Most recently, he gave an All Star awards to Mustafa, Tasha, Jada, and Elijah, because 2 weeks ago, One Impact was responsible for like giving them like a good rating, like at least spiking up, so to speak, and then included that match. And I thought that was pretty cool, especially gonna give someone like Jada Stone, who just kind of got here, her flowers already. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah.
I couldn't agree more with you on the. I do think the All Stars is a nice little, just a shout out to whenever, especially like the talent have like a really good episode, or a really good week. So yeah, I do like that.
Yeah.
Okay, before we get into this week's episode, Io, did you have any final things you want to bring up?
I think that's about it. Yeah, yeah. I think we're good to go. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just want to remind everyone before we get into this week's episode, this week's podcast is sponsored by Shroom Bar, the protein mushroom bar. It's made up of not psychedelics, but 4 powerful mushroom adaptogens. It has lion's mane, which increases focus, memory, and neuroplasticity, making it easier to form new patterns and learning things. Next time you're trying to learn that new move, it might actually stick in your head rather than forgetting it immediately. It has cordyceps, which increases VO2 max, blood flow, and overall endurance. It has reishi, which decreases stress. It has turkey tail, which boosts your immune system. And we all know you're going to need that when you're on those nasty ass gym mats. On top of all that, it has 12 grams of protein. Go to eatshroombar.com and use BodySlam at checkout for 25% off your first order. Okay. I want to continue with kind of a little pattern that we've been doing lately, starting off we're going to start the show with, I think, the biggest thing. And I think this week's episode, it was the main event. I'm going to let you start us off because I think that you've been preaching this all week to people in this main event, and we're going back to Ali and Elijah. I think they really deserve a lot of credit for this one because this match not only delivered, but I think it over-delivered. Yeah, I want you to start us off. Man, break this one down.
Yeah. It's been hype since last week. And it like you mentioned, it over delivered. It delivered. Kind of blew our expectations. Yeah, we gotta give credit where credit is due to not only Mustafa Ali but also Elijah. Here's both guys, weren't really used to their potential, so to speak, in the other company. And then as soon as they come to TNA, they've been hitting all cylinders. Especially Elijah. Like I've enjoyed what he's doing. The cowboy I joked around too, like cowboy Undertaker gimmick. But yeah, this feud with Mustafa has been very fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every segment, especially with the horse. when Mustafa got tied to the horse and stuff. Um, this guitar case casket match. Yeah, it was. They advertised it. A lot of the talents have been telling us to kind of watch it, including Ray Wall, telling us to give this was one to see, and yeah, they were right. It was very good. What did you think of the casket? The big looking casket. Like it was pretty big, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just like a giant guitar case. I really thought the details really. I don't know. I'm not gonna say that made this match, but I thought it was a very nice touch. You know what I mean? It made it feel. Made it feel this match its own. You know what I mean? I know it was just a casket match, but yeah, I thought it was a really nice touch.
Yeah, yeah, it was good. Yeah. So yeah, I like the stipulation that they put in. Soon as the match began, Order 4 was banned from ringside, so that kind of leaves an even playing field for Elijah. And yeah, they brawled all around the ring. A lot of good spots. Uh, also, obviously, as I mentioned before, Mustafa, like he can work with anybody at this point. Like, and I like it too. Like, you can give him anything. Yeah, like he's worked with lesser known talent. No offense, worked with lesser known talent and kind of like give them their own shine and stuff. And he's one of those guys where he's they kind of put him in a good spot to kind of like carry any feud or carry any storyline or any match or so. And this was no different. Like I really, as I mentioned, I really enjoyed this feud because both guys feel like they needed something to prove, especially Elijah. I would give credit to Elijah too. Like I know some folks were kind of like kind of question like bringing him in and so to speak, like because it just kind of came out of nowhere, and then nothing against the Elias character and stuff in WWE, but um but I think I think this feud really kind of helped Elijah, for as from a serious standpoint. Like, can he be a serious can he be a serious guy and stuff? Like, can he hang with some of the best? And this match, especially this feud, kind of showed it too. But yeah, despite the stipulation, or 4 did get involved. A lot of good stuff. But Elijah was able to kind of counter it. Uh, some great spots. Especially with when Natasha kind of got involved. Elijah went for the I forget his name. I forget the name. The Highwayman's Farewell. Is that his
Yeah.
tombstone? The Highwayman's Farewell.
Mhm.
And we thought we thought what was gonna happen, like it had in Genesis, Ali with the guitar. Elijah turned around, Ali hit Tasha instead. That was pretty good. And then soon as Ali got the upper hand, he had the guitar placed on Elijah and was gonna go for the 450, and yep, that's where Elijah finally got to hit Mustafa with the guitar. Then he took care of the good hand. They went through the table, and great shot there. Like the door placed on the casket. Elijah chokeslam Mustafa to the table, and that was it. Closed the lid. No, that was good. What a good way to end the episode. Don't you think? Like, that was good.
Yeah,
So what would you think?
I
What do you
thought it
think?
was a very, very good way. Again, they've been really killing it with these main events, the way they've been ending the show. I thought this Io, you're so right and spot on. They they did so many things right in this match, and again, it's not Ali taking the pin. You know what I mean? He literally Elijah had to go through all of Order 4, and obviously Ali, and literally have to put him in a guitar case. He put him through a door. Like, that's what it took
Yeah,
to
yeah,
win this match. And man, and they've done such a good job with Elijah, making him feel like more of a top guy. And again, we talk about scenery all the time, and being in the right place, right time. TNA's really capitalizing on that, and yeah, this was such a good match, and I think this is kind of proof and of the trajectory and just like what they want to do with how they really shape their shows from top to bottom, start to finish. Yeah, this is a really good match, and yeah, both guys need to get more praise, and I hope we're gonna continue to see it, as the weeks go on, because yeah, I think they really killed it with that match.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to what's next for both guys. Elijah. I mean, most of us, obviously going to be doing big things eventually later on. Elijah, it'll be interesting where he takes this. Because yeah, I seem like this is the end of the feud. I mean, it's a good way too. Like, Mustafa got some wins. Now Elijah was able to, like it's always because like what matters in the end, who has the last laugh. So I think that kind of best way to kind of put a wrap on the feud.
Exactly. And I don't think that Ali comes out, looking less than, after this feud, because, he got some big wins. And yes, Elijah got the last win, but he literally had to, give it, he had to literally hit Ali with everything just to pull that one out. So, yeah, I'm interested to see where they go next. I don't have a problem with Elijah challenging for the world title at some point either. I'm not saying that he's going to win it nor should he win it, but I think he's proven a guy that could deserve like a main event match, whether it's a pay-per-view or a special or an episode of Impact. Okay, let's go into the beginning of the show. And again, man, I think they did a lot of things right in this show, and I think it's started with this first match. It was Indy Hartwell versus Heather by Elegance, accompanied by the whole Elegance brand. You had Mr. Elegance out there, whose really only job is to be Mr. Elegance. I know they did announce his premiere match. I believe it's on the March 5th live episode, which that should be interesting. I'm interested to see what this guy can do. This was a good match, Isle, because, and I really want to hear your thoughts on it. I think the combination of not being thrusted into the main event and the idea of her having to bring the TNA title back home, and just her working with good people and being in a lower spot on the card has done Indy really well. I thought that she looked, I'm not saying the best she's ever looked in TNA, because I think she had I think her match with Tessa, I think was good. But this match was really good. I thought Indy held her own. Heather's really good. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that she carried her in this match, but Heather is very, very good for how long she's been in the business. But I was pleasantly surprised by this match.
Yeah, this was a decent opener. Like you mentioned, I think right now they're doing well. They're doing good, putting Indy in a position where she can still work from the bottom, work with other talent, and doesn't feel like it's overpushed. Also, a good showing for Header, Header too. Kind of showing what can she do on her outside besides being a tag wrestler. Yeah, decent stuff. The main thing is obviously Ash by Elegance was on commentary, calling out Mickie James, calling her out to appear next week, which she will and stuff. But yeah, decent stuff. Elegance brand was gonna get involved. They got scored. I mean, they got thrown out. Yeah, decent stuff. Despite all that, Indy was able to kind of like take care of Heather 1, 2, 3. So now she has victories over both tag champs. So yeah, some manner on her side. I mean, yeah, well, despite getting screwed out of Friday, because her feet was on the rope, but then they actually kind of pulled that off. So she kind of bounced back after. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think that, again, I think that Indy, for her, I think they just need to keep doing what they're doing right now, as opposed to what they were doing, 3, 4, 5 months ago. I think they just need to stay the course, and I think that she's going to get better if they run with this strategy. Okay. Next, we're just going to move into a Mike Santana promo, and while I thought this was very good for Santana, promo-wise, he's always good. To me, what really stood out was especially in the first part, is he really put over Leon, talking about, and really, I guess I like how he apologized for, he did get taken out of that match. Obviously, it wasn't his fault. Macklin attacked him, but he really put over the fact that Leon beat a former world champion. And I think they're really, I don't have any idea, contract wise, but it seems like they're really kind of moving ahead, maybe quicker than they had anticipated. I think we're getting close. I think we're going to move towards Leon Slater winning the world title. They're really putting him over as like a top guy. And I'm not saying that he's already past the X division, but it kind of seems like that way. You know what I mean? Especially just a combination of him wrestling multiple places, WWE being the big one. He's been in a lot of high profile spots, and this really kind of pointed that out. But what do you think about this first part of the segment, Ayo?
Yeah, this was a good segment. Yeah, Santana, got right to the point. Well, he, talking about obviously what's been going on between him and Macklin. Yeah, the recent brawls. I mean, the recent cheap shots from behind and stuff. Speaking of Macklin, earlier, he tried to get into the building, but they wouldn't let him in. But Tom Hannafin was able to kind of like control the situation. Said that he'll talk to management to see if they can at least get him a platform to speak next week. So look forward to that. But Santana was able to kind of like let the crowd know, like, Macklin, if he wants to try, if he wants to get Friday again, he'll be waiting for him. But yeah, the main outside of that, yeah, he called out Leon Slater to the ring. Yeah, he mentioned that prior the option C thing was kind of like tease a bit, not from Slater, but from like Daria Ray and stuff, and Santana didn't know what was going to go down, but he asked Leon, like, does he have his back and stuff, and then Leon, he actually did, he showed out, he did have his back. Unfortunately, thanks to the Macklin stuff, Santana didn't have his back, so Mike was a man to kind of like own up and like let Slater know, like, his bad, if Moose didn't come to the rescue, like, things could have went different. But yeah, like you mentioned, he Slater was able to kind of like overcame that, and then he ended up pinning Nick Nemeth in the tag match. So yeah, all was good between the two champs. And then of course the Nemeth came out. The Nemeth came out to ruin the fun. Nick, well, thankfully, Santana shut Ryan up, but Nick wasn't too impressed with them gloating over, like, he got the pin, saying that Leon got lucky, blah blah blah, blah blah. So yeah, the champs came up with an idea to like tease for a tag match, and then comes the suit, the suits Daria Ray. Put a little halt to that, saying that like the wrestlers don't make the matches, she does. Yeah,
that's what I'm.
We'll get into Daria Ray a little bit, but what were you saying? Your thoughts?
That's what I'm saying. I'm really liking that they're just going with everything. Like she's completely the anti-Santino, anti-babyface manager, because exactly what you just said. Like, the wrestlers don't make the matches. The fans aren't going to will these matches. You know what I mean? There's a schedule. You know what I mean? Daria will make the matches. I really like this. And yeah, it's continuing to look like she's going to seize power from Santino sooner than later. I would say Santino's on his way out. I don't know when, or I'm not privy to anything, but I'm just saying, it seems like that's where they're going.
Yeah. We'll see. But yeah, they're doing everything right with Daria as far as giving you a reason not to like her. Like, there's nothing about her. There's nothing about her that you're supposed to cheer or blah blah. She's trying to be the party pooper, so to speak. And I think that's kind of needed, because it seemed like Santino's was the opposite of that. Like giving the fans what they want, and stuff. So Daria, they bringing in Daria. She's kind of different. Like, she's all about business. So to speak.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Next, we're going to move into a system promo, and I thought this was very good. You know, they're just basically responding to Moose. I thought the star of this segment was Bear Bronson, the way that he just kind of snapped into character. You know, this guy's an absolute beast. You know what I mean? So I really like this. And I think that while, you know, some could argue that the system had been going on a while, I think the reboot upgrade has done this group. It gave them, you know, a breath of fresh air. You know what I mean? I honestly prefer this version opposed to the other one. This group I'm really liking what they're doing with this group, and this is a good quick promo.
Yeah, this was a good one. Basically, yeah, them kind of like, yeah, they're not happy with that Moose, you know, has been kind of getting in their business, saying that, you know, it's clearly Moose missed the spotlight, Moose being in the system, blah 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 and stuff, giving him a warning. Also, was interesting. Yeah, Cedric kind of said like according to him, he's Moose's kryptonite and stuff. So we kind of see you see like they're gonna run it back. It was announced they're gonna have like an Atlanta street fight coming up. So, but yeah, this was the system just giving Moose, you know, fair warning to back off or blah blah, you know. But it's gonna be interesting if Moose is picking up this fight by himself, or like if in this war by himself, or who knows, maybe he'll have some allies. But yeah, basically, yeah, this is far from over between Moose and the system. So it's interesting where it goes.
Definitely. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that street fight. See, that's what I'm saying. They've already got all these, like, obviously they might be taped, or I know that's going to be. Is that going to be live? Is that on the live episode?
It's scheduled for Thursday live, so it might be live.
Okay,
we'll see.
So yeah, that's awesome. We're getting these marquee matches, and they're really giving us time and giving time to promote them. I love it, and yeah, that's going to be another good one. Moose and Cedric have very good chemistry with one another. Okay, now we just get a quick promo from Frankie Kazarian. He kind of walks in on Daria Ray, kind of on the phone, kind of sucks up to her a little bit, compliments everything he's doing. Kazarian looked like a total heel. He had like this denim jacket with like the faux lining, sunglasses inside, no shirt on, which I don't get that look. But just kind of asked if next week during that match, I believe with I think the tag match, he wants to be asked if he could be on commentary, and she granted his wish. So Kazarian continuing to try to get on Daria's good side. I don't know if that's going to lead to anything. I would hope it would. But yeah, that was very interesting.
Yeah, this is Kaz's way of just trying to stick up to the new person in charge for potential, kind of getting her good graces.
Next, we're going to move into our second match. It was a title rematch. Trey Miguel versus Stacks in his rematch in his I guess, and that's what doesn't make any sense. He doesn't have a contract with TNA, so I don't know how he has a rematch clause. I believe you pointed that out. Yeah, he doesn't even go here.
Like contractual rematch, like he doesn't even work here. Like, how does that make sense?
Before the match, we got. I don't care what people say. You know what I mean? I think this was a fucking money promo for Mariana. She's just talking about how in wrestling you have to use everything to your advantage. Talking about she kind of like played her dad. I saw earlier in the week that, and I kind of poked fun of it, her being on Evolve, but I saw a clip of her in the ring, and it was probably one of like the best sequences I've seen from her. And I know I always criticize, and I don't think this run is long, but if she continues to work like that, I think, and the wrestling catches up, I don't think it has to be on par with the character, especially if she's in WWE. But she could be a really big star for them. This was a very good promo. You know what I mean? She's a very good heel. I think I'm not going to say she overstepped. Well, she did overshadow Stacks. That's my opinion. I thought this was a better match for Stacks. You know what I mean? I'm glad Trey won. That new green strap man, that title's dope. But this was a really good showing for Trey. He looked amazing, especially that finishing sequence for him hitting the lightning spiral. Man, I'm looking forward to this run with Trey.
Yeah. I will point out, to Ariana's promo. She did. It was a decent promo. One thing she was right about, like, that, yes, obviously, yes, she used daddy, quote unquote daddy, to kind of get her way, and then you played him like a fiddle. But she also made a good point that this business is about leverage. Yeah, it's about leverage and, like, getting the upper hand, blah 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 and stuff. And Mr. Paul Levesque knows that better than anybody as far as leverage goes. But yeah, yeah. Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did have a good point. It's not just about the moves and blah blah and all that. It's about, leverage, politicking and all that sort of specs. And for her part, she was able to kind of use the fact, that Santino granted her, and then she took advantage. And yeah, guess it's working on her part. So yeah, but yeah. Focus to the match, yeah. Trey, showing us a new green version of the title. It looks pretty good, actually. Really kind of stands out. I was on the fence of, like, bringing in custom titles, but this one in particular, it looks pretty nice. So yeah, I can rock with it.
Yeah.
This was, people say, yeah, this was better than the match they had at No Surrender, which I stand to. Yeah, it wasn't really good back last week, but this one they kind of made up for it. I'm happy. Yeah, as I mentioned, I'm happy for Trey. Like, feels like, yeah, this is like a new lease. Like, feels like, he's a dependable. Like, they kind of transition him to, like, a dependable guy now. Like, no longer with the Rascals and stuff. Finally wearing singles goal. They mentioned, like, it's been 3 years since he's been a singles champ. So, but yeah, good defense. I expect, like, a good reign, with this international title reign. So.
Yeah, I do as well. And yeah, it's crazy. It's been 3 years since the end. He had a very good. I don't want to even call it underrated, which I think some people view it as, but that was a very good reign. Him as X Division champion. So I'm hoping that he gets a long, like, meaningful reign as international champion, because I think that this guy needs to continue to be elevated to be one of their top stars, one of their top guys. Okay, next we're just going to move into, I think if it was calling it angry is an understatement. It was a very cryptic Eric Young promo, just continuing to hype up the cleanse. And, I'm with a lot of people. I'm kind of ready for this storyline to, I would even call it be finished, because I don't even think it's really been started with anything like concrete. We haven't even seen any debuts or him bring anybody in or him really do anything that warrants this name. But, he continued to hype it, talking about, like, and I think that he said the next step is going to be cleansing the X Division, because he does have a X Division title shot briefcase from Feast or Fired. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm just ready to see something happen with this. So I'm looking forward to getting some sort of progress, hopefully very soon, because I'm kind of wearing thin with it. But what do you think about this one, Isle?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, typical EY, going nuts, intimidating the cameraman and blah blah blah. But yeah, what's interesting, yeah, for this one particular, he kind of says that Leon Slater is kind of like accusing him of, like, ruining the X Division. Well, I don't know why, basically, but and yeah, obviously he has a Feast of Fire shot for the X Division title. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward. I'm looking forward to that collision and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Same. Okay, next we're gonna move into. Oh wait, sorry, I'm pulling my notes again. Give me 1 second, folks. Next, we're gonna move into a Jody Threat versus Tessa match, and I was really excited about this one just because this is in the Knockouts division 2 of the best workers. You know what I mean? And for what we got of this match before it sadly ended in disqualification, which, again, I get it. I'm a little upset, but I'm not going to hate it. Jody Threat and Tessa looked really good out there. There was some very good sequence in this match. The beginning started out red hot. Both looked great. Yeah, it did end in disqualification, but I think they're really trying to establish the Diamond Collective as, the one of the top heel groups in the Knockouts division. So again, I'm okay with it. But yeah, Jody and Tessa looked really good out there for the time that we got. And after we did get the beat down, I was hoping someone was going to come out there, and we did get the return of Harley and Mila, and so I would expect maybe a trios match coming. But yeah, this was fine.
Yeah. Decent stuff. Yeah, it seems like they're kind of really slowly building up Jody, and they also, I'm glad Hannafin pointed out that not only Jody has a title shot, but also Danny Luna has a title shot, and also the former champ Laney Ling, she has a control rematch, so seems like contendership's still kind of building up, despite Ariana wearing the new belt, so be interesting to look into that, but yeah. Obviously, Tessa didn't care about winning the match. This is just about punishing Jody. Obviously, punishing Jody and stuff. Seems like the numbers are gonna even up with Harley and Mila. I expect like a multi-person tag coming up. But yeah, I doubt this is far from over between Jody and Tessa.
Yeah, I wouldn't say so as well. I would say so as well, and I hope it's not, because I'm looking forward to them having another singles match and we getting a clear winner in that one. But yeah, this was good for what it was. Okay, next we're gonna probably have one. We're gonna move on to, I always say, probably one of my favorite segments, if not my favorite of the match, my favorite match of the night. It was Sinner and Saint taking on Rich Swann and BDE, and I love this because I just thought this was so brilliant, because not only do I think that they have something with Rich teaming with BDE, I thought BDE coming in the hot tags right now where he's still kind of green, he looked really good. I like having Sinner and Saint win because, typical, I could see, like, if this was WWE, they'd have the new team win in their first win. But they shouldn't beat Sinner and Saint, who are an established team. And I know that they haven't got many reps, but they're finally, seems like they're getting behind these guys, and this was so good, man. This was a great match.
Yeah, they wasted no time having the new Swan and BD tandem go to work, and yeah, they had a good showing against a already established team in Sinner and Saints. It was a good decent match. A lot of good stuff. Shout out to Sinner and Saint to mention our buddy Draven, pointed out too, like we need to see more of them on screen, which I agree. Because right now in the tag division, we don't really know who's kind of like climbing up the ladder. You can't really say who's really climbing up the ladder right now. Yeah, to be honest, like nobody's really on a winning streak or so. But yeah, I would say having Center and Saint in the mix, because they've been kind of like on explosion for the most part and stuff. But yeah, them getting the win, is a good way to kind of build up contendership. Yeah, so I like to see these guys more future too. And we also kind of like got to get the tag division on rolling. I know for a while it's just been about the Hardys and the Righteous and their parent and stuff, which we'll get into later. But at least kind of this match was kind of build up contendership, and I'm glad Sinner and Saint got the win.
Yeah, I think what this kind of little period showed us right now, they don't think the Hardys need the belts right now. I think we kind of I think partly it's because it doesn't seem like there's any competition. So, and I think we've already got a 4-team number one contender match announced. I believe Sinner and Saint and Swan and BD are both in it. So I'm looking forward to that. I like to see Sinner and Saint win that. But yeah, I know we gotta reignite the tag division. It seems a little stagnant right now. Okay, next we just got a couple basically back-to-back promo segments. First one was Mance Warner and Steph Lander kind of calling out AJ, saying he crossed the line, and then kind of bursts into AJ's locker room, and AJ and Mance going at it. I like that they're continuing with this feud because I can't wait to see those two get in the ring. I think they're going to deliver some quality matches just because you got two hard hitting guys, two big guys. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's been funny with AJ. Yeah, trying to ruin a happy home. He's been
Yeah.
putting a little few cheap shots, on Mance and Steph. I thought it was funny when he said before he got sucker punched. He said like I know you ain't getting none from her, but you ain't gonna come here and block me. And I thought that was funny. Yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to this. Yeah, two big guys. Yeah, as Big E would say, big meat slapping meat or whatever what the hell you gonna say? Yeah, these are two big big men. Yeah, going at it. So.
Next, we're gonna get the Hardys kind of, and they run into the system, and they're just kind of talking about how they're not going to get jumped, but obviously the system but the system point out how they are outnumbered. Shortly after that, we get the Righteous intervening, and this was more about kind of the Righteous. First, they apologize for the miscommunication, which led to them losing the match. Dutch being blinded and hitting his finisher on Matt. They just kind of apologize and said they're going to continue to show them that they're on their side. Obviously, I don't think that's true, because history's shown us that in certain storylines that's not true as well. But this is just kind of weird, you know what I mean? And again, I think it's just kind of keeping the tag team titles hostage for now, just because they're not really doing anything with them.
Exactly.
I'm kind of looking forward to this to end, but and hopefully, and obviously, we know that. Because I think the other team in the Fatal 4-Way number one contenders match is Myers and Bear, and Bear Bronson. Don't they already have a title shot with the briefcase? So it's interesting that they're in that match.
No, Eddie has the world one.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'm hoping that we move past this soon and get new champs, just because this is kind of part of the reason why it's so stale.
Yeah. It just feels like instead of and yeah, because the Righteous don't want to face the Hardys, it's kind of like putting a little it's kind of like putting a little a halt, so to speak, on the division ranking. So this contenders match coming up in Atlanta, hopefully got kind of shaking things up. But yeah, I mean they got their work cut out for them next week against the system. So we'll see how that goes.
And finally, because this is our final segment tonight, because we already covered the main event, we get what I think is the start of something that could be very, very, people can call whatever one. I think this is going to be a very good feud. It was Elena Black coming out for a promo. She's just kind of running down Mara. And, I thought before Mara came out, Elena was very good on the mic. But as soon as Mara came out, this is when it got really good, because Elena just talks about how Mara didn't have to grind like Elena did. And while that might be like a typical promo, I thought that the way that she said it, her delivery, you know what I mean? Like, she believed what she was saying, you know what I mean? Talking about what it took to be there, to get there. And then you have Mara, who she's not running from, the spotlight. And, she points out how she's had to grind just as hard. Maybe it not have been on the indies, but, and maybe she, and like Elena did say that she was handpicked. I'm not going to sit here and go talk about that, but to these two on the mic, I thought really, really delivered. And why people might shit on the fact that, the match might not be as good. I think Mara and Elena, again, and we saw Elena when she had TNA matches in TNA before she signed with TNA, when she was still with NXT as Cora Jade. I think she's been better since coming to TNA. So I'm actually looking forward to this, because they did a good job planting the seeds for a feud. And I think it's going to be big time, because I think that TNA's got big plans for both these women in the division.
Yeah. Already one promo battle, and they already kind of like got the pace rolling. Yeah. Yeah, both women, they got some they had some they had some good words to say and stuff. Yeah, about Elena saying that she Mara kissed up to the company and blah blah blah, or that she didn't work as hard, like at the indies and blah blah and stuff. But yeah, Mara was able to kind of like retort saying that like you're not mad at me because I eliminated you. You're mad because this business didn't crack me or break me or blah 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 like it did with you or blah blah. Like yeah, so I mean, so like this was good because yeah, both women are two. They have made good points, so to speak.
Mhm.
Like obviously one's bitter, one's has a new edge, trying to like seize the opportunity, being here at TNA. The other is just reinventing herself, like didn't whine or complain because WWE let her go, so to speak. Like yeah, both women were let go by WWE. The difference between one kind of kept the pace rolling, the other just kind of like took a break, wanted to do something else. But yeah, but a lot of tensions already, and I'm looking forward to it. Uh,
Exactly. It's
yeah,
like you have.
two women who have something to prove, basically, especially Mara. I'm glad like she's kind of like getting onto a serious knockouts feud.
Yeah, it's two women with something to prove, but it's like the way that they're like, yeah, Elena still has that like it's got that chip on her shoulder from obviously being released from WWE,
Hmm.
and you know what I mean. And then Mara, while she looks at it as like a new beginning, you know what I mean, like a chance to prove herself in TNA. And she pointed
Yeah,
out the pedigree of the division, like, and I loved hearing that, with the names mentioned like Naomi and she mentioned Jazz,
Naomi,
and that was really
Jazz,
cool. Yeah.
yeah,
And
Mickey James,
so
yeah,
I'm
she mentioned
looking.
Mickey, yeah, sorry,
Sorry, who was the third
Mickey,
name? Sorry.
Mickey,
Yeah. Who we're going to get just real quick. We are going to get a face to face between her and Ash, I believe, next week. So I'm looking forward to that as well. But back to this segment, I'm looking. I can't wait for this eventual match because again, like you had pointed out, one promo it took to sold me, and I hope I could see a lot of people as well being sold on this feud already. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
yeah,
One one quick final note, and I just loved how they ended this, and this is why I love wrestling because it's so wacky. They announced that Steve Macklin will be granted interview time, and only in wrestling could somebody come in, assault security guards and wrestlers, and then it's announced that he's going to get time to address why he did it. So I'm loving more and more this kind of, which I think it is a work. Steve Macklin's firing. I can't wait for until he's back full time, but I'm looking forward to this because I do think while Steve Macklin was competent and really good as a face, I think he's very good as a heel, and I'm liking this aggressive Steve Macklin again that we're getting. So I can't wait for that next week.
yeah.
With that being said, do you have any final thoughts on this week's episode?
Yeah, next week's pretty loaded. If you guys follow me, I posted up the card. Pretty loaded. We have 5 matches, including 2 segments. So yeah, that's a lot. So should be interesting. Yeah, should be interesting. You mentioned yeah Tom Hannafin and interviewing Macklin. We'll see how that goes and stuff. Our buddy Matthew just chimed in saying, "I disagree. I think Macklin is fired." Well, if he's well, I
If you
mean, currently he is quote unquote fired, but like he's still trespassing. So we'll see how that we'll see we'll see how that handles. But yeah, next week should be interesting. It's always good to see Mickey James come back.
Mhm.
Uh, um, real quick, I mean, I don't know what they're gonna say next week, but I'll mention that. So like her and Ash go way back.
Mhm.
When formerly Dana Brooke, got fired, Nikki pointed out that she came to her, because she didn't know what to do, and then like she reached out to Tommy to kind of give her an opportunity. So yeah, there is some history between these two. So in case folks didn't know, so it should be interesting how that kind of goes about. Also, we have the match we were supposed to get at Genesis, Lang Lee going up against Danny Luna. So that should be interesting. And
Yes, it should be. If it
yeah, that should
should.
should be interesting. Speaking of Order 4, Tasha Steeles Obviously not too happy about that guitar shot she got. So I mentioned like, yeah, take that aggression on the newcomer Jada Stone next week. So that should be interesting. But yeah, loaded next Thursday.
I cannot wait. And you know what? Again, I'm not one of those people who lets awards get me down, but I definitely, because I think the talk, especially when it's positive, is what it's all about, especially when it's multiple outlets talking about it. I do think that if TNA continues on this pace, you're going to really hear talk of one of the best weekly shows in wrestling, because from a quality standpoint and structure, and the way that they are starting, ending, middle, they're ending shows, it's a complete package from what you want in a wrestling show. They're doing a lot. They're getting so much out of 2 hours with this roster. So kudos to
I
them.
agree. I agree. I mean, it's just because like WWE's in the way and AEW's in the way. So some of these award people are not going to really like. I mean, unless they kind of prove me wrong, they're not gonna like kind of see through or see what else is out there, or like who else is kind of like. I mean, to a credit PWI, they acknowledge it. They do acknowledge other companies outside the big two. Like some some of our TNA talent have gone on higher rankings and stuff. Um, Other awards I'm not going to mention. They don't really kind of pay attention to other promotions outside
Yes.
WWE and AEW. Sometimes maybe New Japan and stuff. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, what's New Japan really doing much these days outside the wrestling? That's just my opinion. But you're right. Right now, TNA is kind of like building their audience. I think that's kind of the main thing, not just for an attendance standpoint, but a viewership standpoint, which is good. Like they already have a good platform in Canada, Sportsnets. Now they finally got a good one in AMC. Hopefully things turn about for the UK, because I know our fellow UK fans and friends, keep pointing when they're gonna come back. Hopefully some point soon this year. We'll see. But the bottom line, things are going smoothly for TNA.
Yes.
And they
Yes.
shouldn't. I'll say this: we shouldn't really worry about the other products or like the comparison bullshit game. Like I'm not really into that. I just kind of focus on TNA right now. So yeah. So when I say things are going smooth, guys. So yeah, just keep tuning in.
Completely agree with you. Yeah. Yeah. We're not going to sit here and dwell in the negative. I think TNA, and a lot of people would agree, is red hot right now. And again, we're going to continue to see that next week, like we saw it this week. With that being said, I want to thank you everyone for joining us. Especially want to thank Ayo for joining me each and every week. We'll be back next week talking next week's episode, and want to make sure to remind everyone to like and subscribe so you get notified of this video or whenever I or the many great people go live on Bodyslam. A lot of great things happening over there. And with that being said, thank you to all, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Have a great weekend.